Hello and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean.
Oh man, like you had a lot of energy and I felt like I didn't have any energy. Trying to like compensate.
I just had a good swig of water.
Oh, all right.
Swig of this Pellegrino. I feel really fancy drinking this, but
So we saw Shazam.
yeah, let's talk about Shazam.
Sure.
So what did you? So what? Why don't we just start off with what we thought?
You know what? I liked Shazam. I don't think it was my favorite superhero movie, but I enjoyed it. I liked seeing it. I liked that it was. I mean, obviously, to me, it wasn't as good as like Spider-Man: Homecoming, but I liked what I liked about Shazam is the same thing I liked about Spider-Man: Homecoming. Is it wasn't this huge global thing. It was a small story.
Yeah.
And they did have this like, oh, it could like have global impact. But for the most part, you know, just kind of hung out with Shazam in Philly and, you know, the villain was there and that was it.
Yeah, no, I was cool with that. I kind of like when it's just contained like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my God, here comes the alien spaceship. It was just kind of this, you know, Shazam is doing this little small thing because he's a brand new hero.
There's definitely some city fighting.
Yeah, there was definitely some city fighting.
I try to see that, especially in like the DC movies. I'm like, ugh.
Well, you just never know.
Right?
Yeah. Did you like it?
I liked it. I thought that it wasn't my favorite movie. And granted, I mean, not every movie is my favorite movie, so it's kind of a weird way to explain that. But it was good, but it also...
Shazam's really dumb.
It's a dumb... Well, here's the thing. I am not a big Captain Marvel Shazam.
That's my thing, too. That's what I mean by Shazam's really dumb.
Yeah, like I've not really...
There's so many dumb things.
There's a lot of dumb things going on with him, but also it's one of those things where I see the character and I'm just like, I would much rather be reading something else than worrying about, you know, what Shazam is up to. I just find him to be kind of hokey and it doesn't really I just don't feel it like I should.
Yeah.
You know, I guess like other people are like, oh man, this is so much fun and whatever, and it influences me and blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. You know, because actually it was interesting how we were watching Alamo Draft House where we saw it, which we saw it at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, 9:15 a.m.
Which was fucking rad.
Yeah, actually it was great.
Nobody was there and you get breakfast food.
Yeah.
And you can have coffee, that's the thing. Because we remember how we go to see a movie like early and you'd be like, hey, ArcLight, give us some coffee.
And they look at you like you're crazy.
They look at you as like, who the fuck wants coffee in a movie theater?
And you're like, we want coffee because it's fucking 9 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
It's like, look, you don't have I can't bring my Starbucks in here.
Right.
You won't have a Starbucks in here. If you had a Starbucks in here, Jesus Christ, I mean, that'd be the fucking end of it.
That's it. I would never do anything but see a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Because I want to see a movie. I'm going to drink my Starbucks coffee, and it's going to be fucking great. It'd be great.
Let me be happy.
But you can just order some coffee sitting at your table, you know? You get some coffee, get yourself a breakfast sandwich or whatever, you know, or whatever they have. And, it wasn't bad. You know, I was cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, get yourself a mimosa geez.
We did have some mimosas.
So it was pretty rad, you know, and I like that setup. But the movie, first of all, I want to say it was very long. Yeah, surprisingly long.
It was longer than it needed to be for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of filler in it. You know, because we're trying... I feel like it's one of those things where like they're really trying hard to get out as much about Captain Marvel or Shazam as possible. Mm-hmm. So we're just like, okay, because I feel like it's something where they didn't think they're going to be able to get a sequel out of this.
Yeah.
Even though they might, or maybe they won't. I don't know how well it really did.
I think it did pretty well.
It probably did good.
Yeah.
Considering that it's in the part where we have Avengers coming up at the end of the month. And there really hasn't been...
There's really nothing in the theater right now.
There's really nothing in the theater right now. I mean, Pet Sematary came out this weekend.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and there's Us, you know.
Oh, well, we definitely want to see Us. But I mean, I wouldn't say that... I mean, outside of the adult audience, you can take your kids to see Shazam.
Yeah, there's not like a big superhero movie.
I wouldn't say take your 6-year-old to go see Pet Sematary.
Or do.
Or do, but I mean, like... Most parents aren't going.
Maybe your kid's a big John Lithgow fan.
that your kid might really be into John Lithgow.
He might be watching a lot of Third
know.
Rock reruns, and he might just be like, "Look,
You know,
Dad."
I don't know the maturity level of your specific child, but I would say most parents wouldn't take their kids
Right.
to see Pet Sematary.
But you should take your kids to see Shazam.
Yeah.
It's a very PG-13 movie, although there are parts of it that are dark as fuck.
Really dark, actually.
Well, it's kind of like how Aquaman was, where it's like you're just like, oh, here's a bunch of water shit. It's like, holy shit,
and then
look at those fucking monsters.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's fucking terrifying, and you're like, oh my
terrifying!
God. Really terrifying.
Really fucking terrifying.
Though I will say, and there is this one part where we are first really introduced to the villain as he is.
So Mark Strong plays Dr. Savannah.
Yeah, and by the way, great coat.
Yeah.
What a great coat.
Mark Strong actually plays a lot of random ass DC villains. You notice that?
Yes.
Because he was also Parallax. No, he wasn't Parallax. Was he Evan Sir?
Oh, he
or not Evan Sir. No, he was
Sinestro.
Sinestro. That's right, Sinestro.
Yes.
He was Sinestro.
Yep.
He was Dr. Savannah, and then he was also the lead villain in Kick-Ass.
Oh, he was.
He was
the father.
Fucking what's his face's father? McLovin's dad.
You mean motherfucker's dad?
Motherfucker. Well, yeah.
McLovin, same guy.
Well, what's funny is I was just thinking about this today because I was thinking about how Christopher Mintz plays Claus, whatever, or McLovin.
Mm-hmm.
I think, from what I understand, I remember years ago, this was obviously after when Superbad came out, Superbad has been out for 12 years.
Oh my God.
Which is fucking wild, but.
Oh, we're so old. We're literally.
I think 2008. Yeah,
death.
The movie came out 2008. Yeah, because I think it came out before I left for Boston. So yeah, I think 2008. Like he hates to be called, I think, McLovin.
How about motherfucker? Is he cool with that one?
I mean, you can call him motherfucker because I remember they were supposed to get a friend of mine was going to book him on a podcast for whatever thing he was doing then.
Did they call him?
But they were like something where it's like, oh, but don't call him McLovin. Or I don't know if you're supposed to talk about McLovin, but it's literally the only thing I can think of him that he did other than Kick-Ass. But yeah, so Mark Strong's in this movie. He's great. I think he's really good. Great.
He is good. And what a coat.
Great coat.
God damn, it's a great coat.
They actually make Dr. Savannah, who usually comes off as being, I don't know, at least to me, because I'm not a big Shazam fan, so anytime I see anything that's involved with Shazam, I'm like, that looks corny as fuck.
Yes,
villains, heroes, whatever. And but he plays a menacing,
he really does,
scientist guy. Whatever.
He really, really does. He's pretty great.
But the scene,
there is this one scene where you finally see his final form, if you will, right? The villain he really is. And there is this scene where he is in a boardroom and he does this thing that is both dark as shit and hilarious.
Oh, is it?
Because it comes out of nowhere and I could not stop laughing and I realized that is not the appropriate reaction.
I know. Was that what they were going for?
No.
But it was goddamn funny.
It's like, when, if you've ever seen Meet Joe Black when Brad Pitt gets hit by the car and everybody fucking starts laughing, it's like that. Because you just don't see it coming and you don't know how else to react.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but there's also bits in the movie that are really funny. There's actually a lot of really good humor in the movie that isn't completely at the expense of it doesn't go over your head. It's just very broad humor.
Yeah, and it's fun. And it really is if a kid all of a sudden got superpowers, they would do these things.
The big problem I had with this though, because I was watching this movie and Zachary Levi plays Shazam as Shazam.
Yes.
And I think he's really funny as that role.
Yeah.
My problem with it, though, is that for whatever reason,
the direction to every time somebody says something, he goes, "Oh, hey, dude, huh?"
Yeah,
like that.
Right, but here's the thing.
That was my problem.
But I feel like the kid, Billy Batson as the kid,
didn't do that.
He didn't act like that. Because Shazam as an adult was more of an overreacting spaz.
Yeah, like an overdramatic child.
An overreacting weird, just guy.
Yeah.
Who
he was really very overdramatic child. Much more, I feel, as Shazam than Billy Batson was, and you're absolutely right. And that was my problem with
Because Billy Batson just seemed like a snotty kid.
Yeah, he was just snot-nosed
Which
punk.
is this smug kid who, like, who's kind of street smart, and then he turns into Shazam, and he's like, oh, I don't know, hey, hit me with this board or whatever.
Dude, I don't know.
Hey, what's up? I'm stupid. Hey, shoot me in the face or whatever, And I mean, it makes for funny moments,
Yes.
but there's a lot of it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
a little weird.
And so it definitely, but they definitely, follow through with some other stuff in the Captain Marvel universe, Shazam universe, or whatever they call it, when you ever call it. There's some stuff in there. Not really going to talk about it because you maybe should go see the movie. Because you should go see it.
I think people should go see it. It's enjoyable.
Well, here's the thing. It's
a little bit too long, but it was enjoyable. I mean, I had a good time.
Well, it's also it's a DC movie.
It's not dark as like visually dark. I could actually see shit.
Yeah, and it's not rampantly negative and
it's not depressing.
Depressing because let's say Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, depressing as fuck.
Yeah.
Justice League,
so sad.
Suicide Squad. I mean, Wonder Woman and Aquaman,
right.
Whatever. I mean, those were good movies too, but I mean, this one was actually like the first DC movie in a long while that's had some sort of actual levity in it.
Aquaman definitely did, but I feel like this kind of gets it more right.
Well, it felt more natural in this sense because like Aquaman, as Aquaman, it just basically just felt like Jason Momoa as real life person.
Yeah, Jason Momoa was just in a movie.
It was just Jason Momoa, and he just happened to be called Aquaman.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I still liked Aquaman a lot.
I did too.
I think it was as for an Aquaman movie in 2018.
Yeah. We got something good.
We got something good. It wasn't, fucking Vinny Chase or whatever the fuck it is, running around, or it wasn't just some bunch of dumb fish jokes.
Yes, that's true.
Because that's the thing that we probably could have, could been saddled with. But I mean,
yes.
But at least this movie, the Shazam movie, at least there's some good humor in it. There's some surprises in it. I don't want to spoil anything, so go see it.
Yeah, it's fun.
But there's some fun stuff in it, and it's definitely. I'm glad that they made the attempt.
Yes.
Too. I mean, because I'm saying, because you could have made a Captain Marvel or Shazam movie and just have it being just as fucking corny as shit and just really just not fun, just not enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
At least for me, it wouldn't be. But I think they made it work.
You even see and this is towards the beginning of the movie, but you even see that Mr. Mind is there. They did that. He exists in this universe, and
also, I want to say too. So the wizard Shazam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I mean, I think it's in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything, but it looks corny. It looks shitty as fuck. I mean, at least the makeup, I feel like you could have did a better job because it feels like a Key and Peele sketch.
It really does. It's just like they just glued so much beard.
Damon Hansu?
Yes.
I can never say his name right.
Damon Hansu.
Who's also double dipping in here in comic book movies. Is. As was Zachary Levi. I didn't realize he was Fandral in Thor. I was like...
Yeah, neither did I.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, really?
Yeah, but they just glued 18 beards to this guy's face. It just looks stupid. So, yeah, it was something.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a Key and Peele sketch that they did really cheaply and really hastily.
Yeah, there's there's the villains, and then there's monsters, and the monsters for me were just CGI glop.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely. I feel like that's the only thing that DCE knows how to do.
They're just like, hey, make it gloppy.
I feel like, cool. Well, think about it. Like, anytime they make a CGI monster, I mean, from Doomsday, Suicide Squad, whatever the fuck that thing was.
Oh yeah.
Aquaman. I mean, Wonder Woman. Just gray monster glop.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always like Steppenwolf. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just when they're like, hey, let's make a monster. We was like, can you just have some colors?
Can it look like worse than what video games are doing today? Then we'll put it in this DC movie,
right? And
that's kind of what
it might as look. Doomsday might as well have been in this movie. You would have been there and be like, "Hey, it's Doomsday." It's like,
he would have fit right in. You'd have been like, "Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense."
It's one of the most iconic and significant villains in the DC universe, has
looks
been
like a fucking cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
and which is just, I think it's pretty sad.
It is sad, actually.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that was that. Did you want to talk about your favorite event of the year?
What, Thanksgiving?
No.
Oh. WrestleMania. Yes.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. I'm not going to say much about it because you can literally go on the web and just find every hot take about it.
Yeah, but what's your hot take?
My hot take was the show's too long.
It's too fucking long. That's also my hot take.
Well, first of all, the show's too long.
Christ, man. 7+ hours of wrestling.
Yes, too much wrestling.
So, let me explain. For Sean to say that this is too much wrestling. So, WrestleMania is not one day in our house. WrestleMania is a weekend event.
Yep.
So,
we start
Friday night, we start with NXT TakeOver, which was great. And it was the perfect length for a show. It was like 2.5 hours.
They always get that right.
Thumbs up on NXT. But at the very end, the last hour?
No, it was the same time, actually.
Oh, same time. We had an independent show.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I watched.
Was it Spring Break?
It was Joey Janela's Spring Break Part 1.
Yes.
Joey Janela's Spring Break 3 Part 1.
Yeah.
And then the next day.
Well, so you had to get that streaming through a specific app. So Sean has Joey Janela's Spring Break on the laptop, and playing on the TV is NXT TakeOver.
Double dipping.
Basically double fisting wrestling, looking in between the two, and checking Twitter at the same time. So Saturday, we get up, we go to fucking Shazam at 9:15 in the morning because we had wrestling to watch.
I'm glad that worked out.
It actually did work out pretty well. So we went to see Shazam. We left. We came home. I went shopping. And then Sean watched the Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the WWE. New Japan.
So New Japan. Then it was also at the same time New Japan, Ring of Honor, G1 Supercard at MSG. Which, since I have New Japan World, I was able to watch it. I normally wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't.
Yes.
But since I had it, might as well put it on.
Double dipping on that. So once both of those were over, Joey Janela's Spring Break Part 2.
Yes.
Started at 10:30.
Yes.
So then he watched that.
Then I watched that, and then Sunday.
Until about 2:00 in the morning.
Then Sunday is WrestleMania.
And then Sunday was WrestleMania. The pre-show started
at 3.
At 3.
We were there. We were at our friend John's house.
Yes, we went over to and I felt really bad because by the end of it, I'm like, we have overstayed our welcome because holy shit. And then they were like, no, you got to finish WrestleMania. But at the same time, I was like, Jesus Christ, we have been
They were very grateful
house.
to have us over. And
they were very gracious, but I was like,
it was fun.
I have literally been imposing on your space for almost 8 hours at this point.
Yeah.
Because we showed up when the pre-show started and we didn't leave until WrestleMania was over. So we were there at 3. We didn't walk out the door until after 10:30. So, I'm only a casual wrestling fan, even though I have opinions because of you. What made it really difficult for me to watch that much wrestling is it is exhausting. For WrestleMania, there's no break. So, even the matches that I cared about, I really care about the women's main event. I was psyched for that. I wanted to see it. By the time I got there, I couldn't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I was so fucking ready for it to be over that I couldn't even enjoy what was happening.
Yeah.
And for that to be my takeaway of the entire event was I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Yeah.
Is shitty because considering there were a lot of really good matches on there and there weren't a lot of bullshit filler matches, and the ones that were bullshit filler is what killed the show. So that's what I think sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's here's the thing. It's I used to back in the day, when you used to have WrestleMania, you used to have WrestleManias with a lot of matches on it.
Well, this one had 16.
I feel like they would have 10 or 11 matches, but then they would have a a break in between, like a 20-minute intermission.
A fucking intermission, man.
Just intermission, and they would just do that, and you'd come back or whatever, and it was fucking great.
Yeah.
But this is, like you said, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that didn't necessarily need to be there because it's such a spectacle at this point. Like, they really have to, like, double down on everything. And, of course, with it being WrestleMania, the idea is that, it's the big opportunity of the year for everybody on the roster to have some sort of role, whether it be in a battle royal or some sort of match, whatever, so they can get a payday. That's
right.
kind of.
And I didn't actually mind the battle royal. I thought both of those were great, and I thought that was played very well. I think what I didn't need was Triple H taking fucking 40 minutes for him and Batista to be old. I didn't fucking need Shane and Miz. I don't fucking ever need Shane. Fuck Shane McMahon. I never want to see him wrestle again. But I didn't need that match. I had even Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle could have been completely written off.
I don't know why they just don't do just title matches and then like one or two grudge matches and just call it a day, because I mean,
do your battle royals at the very beginning, throw everybody into them, right? Do your tag matches, do your title matches, whatever, and get it down to 4 hours. Get it to Super Bowl length.
Yeah, even the Super Bowl's not even that long.
The Super Bowl's not as long as WrestleMania. Get it to Super Bowl length, and I'll be like, all right.
The Super Bowl's a fucking football game.
And the Super Bowl's a goddamn slog.
The Super Bowl is an honest to goodness football game with the full on performance in the middle of it, and it's not nearly as long as WrestleMania. WrestleMania is literally just a bunch of assholes.
It's about twice as
in
long.
Tights fighting each other in the ring, and then occasionally, there'll be a fucking sketch, then some other bullshit, but you're still there, and you just have to keep going, and it just
never stops.
Oh my god, it never stops.
Yeah, why? Why exactly? Why?
Well, when we get back, we'll explain why. We'll come back with our book for this week.
For years, the Fire and Water Podcast Network has found its joy talking about comics. From Aquaman and Firestorm to Batman and Plastic Man. From giant treasuries to pocket-sized digests. From massive miniseries events to singular one-shot adventures. From romance to horror to whatever the hell Ohatmu or not is. In the last year, they've begun to carve a path through their favorite television shows, such as MASH, Cheers, and Justice League Unlimited. And there's no sign of them stopping. What medium will Fire and Water conquer next?
Do you like good music?
Introducing Fire and Water Records, the music anthology podcast from the Fire and Water Network. Find your joy in all new ways as members of the Fire and Water Network and their friends discuss favorite songs, albums, concerts, and artists.
Hang on, I've been doing a music show for 2 years.
Featuring Record Revolution.
Join the Brothers Daily as we catalog the essential years that shaped popular music and our own lives.
A Very Daily Christmas.
An annual celebration of our favorite holiday tracks.
Plus, all new episodes of Zoom for Sam.
The show in which I share my joy of Samantha Fox by spotlighting a single every single episode.
And Pod Dylan.
No, not Pod Dylan. We discussed this. That's staying on its own feed.
Not Pod Dylan, but everything else I said. Plus, so much more. There's even a chance David Ace Gutierrez will show up.
Which brings us back to Fastball, which is really one of the most interesting American bands in the world today. When you think about the number of side projects and solo projects associated with the band, it actually almost outnumbers.
Fire and Water Records, a proud part of the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
All right, we're back here on Worst Collection Ever with our book for this week. It is Cloak and Dagger, Volume 2, Number 8, from September 1986. We have covered Cloak and Dagger on this show.
We have, but
before.
I feel like this was almost like a different...
It was.
Yeah, like a different version of these characters.
No, it's the same characters. It's just it was a different series. So,
well, no, I know it's the same characters, but I mean different, because Cloak seems a lot different than I remember him.
Yeah, because I remember last time we did this book,
It's been a while.
let's do a Cloak and Dagger book on its own, was 2015.
Oh my.
We were reading it along with an Orion book back when we used to do 2 comics per episode, which was the WrestleMania of comic book worst collection ever
It really
episodes.
was.
Because I used to think about that. I think about that a lot, how we used to do 2 comics per episode.
I don't know. Well, we didn't bullshit at the top, though.
We didn't bullshit at the top, but we kind of would, you know.
If you had a choice, more comic content or us bullshitting, I mean, the choice is clear.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also, you know, I honestly feel that us doing 2 comics is kind of more of a drain on us.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because
that's why we don't do it anymore.
It's a lot of comedy that has to come forth.
I mean, we don't really do that much comedy as it is. we try. We're not very good at it.
We don't really do.
I don't know. If you were going to do like a laughs per minute or LPMs for this show, I don't think you would get a high number.
Worst collection ever. Maybe comedy?
Question mark?
Could we possibly get a comedy?
Yeah.
But yeah, actually the last time we read this, there was an issue. I feel this is why I was confused, because I was reading this and I felt the plot was somewhat similar. Because I think it was also because I read this comic, this particular issue, before reading it for just now. So I was like, I know I've read this before.
Oh, okay.
But I also felt like the other issue that we read had something to do with
drugs.
Well, obviously, I feel like they all have to do with drugs. Let's be perfectly honest. I think every
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger is basically like, hey, don't do drugs or these motherfuckers are going to get you.
Hey, kids. No.
Hey, kids. No.
Dare.
But it was, you know, there was also like a thing going on in like another country. I felt like there was an international bent to it. There was the priest, you know, I would think he was involved. I do specifically remember in that issue we read, there was... Well, no, actually, I think it was an issue where Dagger was blind. Okay.
I think that was that the one we read?
That was the one we read.
That's why it seems so fucking different now.
Yeah, because Dagger was blind. She had something happen where she was blind and she couldn't see, and she was learning how to figure out her, like, she was staying in some apartment or whatever. Okay. And then there was a dog that she was like, I'll give you a cookie, dog. And the dog went, good deal. But it was translated from like dog language. Right. That's the one thing I remember about that issue. And then there was also like a chick that had like a bunch of dark force, but she was wearing it like a weird bathing suit or something. Yeah. So that was going on too. So yeah, but this one is actually a bit more straightforward. And I just I had to look it up just before we started. So the TV series is still a thing.
Yes,
which is
just premiered like the second season.
It literally just premiered, I think, like last week.
Yes, we have not seen the TV.
Freeform.
Yes, well, we do not have cable.
I think you can watch it on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
I think it's available in some form.
I can Google that, but yeah,
it is not free form. Nor form.
Yeah, so we haven't seen it. I feel like it comes off as one of those, like, I'm a sexy teen show on the CW.
That's the thing. It's like, here's the thing. When I look
I'm too old for those sexy teen shows.
When I look at a Cloak and Dagger...
I was too old for those sexy teen shows when I was in that demographic.
Right. But the thing, too, is like when I look at when I think of like a Cloak and Dagger show, it's like, well, I want to see this. I want to see this comic. But you're not going to obviously see that because, we're in this age of like, he's like, oh, nobody's having these costumes, or I don't know if they have costumes. I don't fucking know.
I don't have any idea. I can't say anything about the Cloak and Dagger TV show because I've literally only seen like 30-second previews and that's it.
Yeah, that's what that's it. There's like a lot of Marvel shows that I have no idea actually exist, but they do.
Yeah,
like the Runaways.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Yep.
There's another. I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, well, there's also Legion.
Yeah,
there's that one. I mean, there's just a lot of like random ass Marvel content.
Speaking of random ass Marvel content, I read today that they are going to make a Hawkeye show.
I thought it was supposed to be based on Kate Bishop.
No, it's going to be starring Jeremy Renner. That's according to like Variety and the Hollywood Reporter.
So what's it going to be on?
I do not know. I did not look that much into it. They just said it's going to be a thing. I'm guessing it'll be on Disney's new streaming service, right?
That would make sense to put it there.
Sense.
Either that or you're going to put it on some... I mean, I guess you would put it on Disney's service. That makes sense to put it there.
But as we know, I can't stand fucking Jeremy Renner. So I have no interest in
Also,
this.
Jeremy Renner doing TV.
But that's the thing. Like, if you were going to be like, it's based on Matt Fraction's run, I'd be like, hey, man, that sounds cool. Let's watch this. Nope, not with Jeremy Renner in it. I don't like him. I don't know why.
I thought he was okay in The Town.
I need to irrationally hate somebody. And I've picked Jeremy Renner.
Why do you hate Hawkeye so much?
It's not Hawkeye. I hate Jeremy Renner.
Oh my God, I think I hate Jeremy Renner.
Oh no, I hate Jeremy Renner.
No, I do hate him.
Oh
Good night.
no, I do. Okay, bye.
Oh my God. Anyways, Cloak and Dagger from 1986. The story is called Vacation. It's named after my favorite Go-Go song. And so basically,
Vacation, all I ever wanted. I am Cloak and that is Dagger. We went to Paris, France with some dude that no one's seen before. Okay.
that's actually the plot of this book.
That's exactly what this plot is. I just sang it. Thanks for tuning into Worst Collection Ever.
You should sing the plots of all of our songs, all of our comics, all of our comics.
Yeah. Well, I only got the beginning. I didn't get the end of it.
Well, just do that part, and you can only sing 4 bars of, but it has to be done to 4 bars of the Go-Go's Vacation.
Okay.
So
right,
you have to look at like Detective Comics is a comic, Batman is an asshole in it.
That's a great song.
Actually, that's probably every Batman comic.
That's a little bit too general.
It's kind of too big.
That's a little too
Then there's
broad.
Bane, and he breaks Batman's back now.
There you go.
And then then Bane runs away.
Yeah, there you go. See? You're doing good.
Yeah, great.
Any comic could be summed up to the tune of the Go-Go's Vacation.
So this one actually, they literally so basically they're following
There's drug smuggling.
So the story about Cloak and Dagger, if you're not aware, is that Tyrone Bowen Tyrone.
I don't know.
Tandy and Tyrone. That's their names.
They were like
teenage runaways.
Teenage runaways on the streets of New York, and they were fed drugs.
Yeah, they were captured by the mob, and the mob was like, "Yo, we got to test out some of these fucking drugs and see how shit goes before we start selling it and getting people all crazy." And they're like, let's test it on
the fact that the mob would test any of the drugs that they're selling is just such a ridiculous notion.
Hey,
fuck it, we're just fucking selling this. What you gonna do?
Hey,
the mafia.
We're the mafia, but we respect the FDA.
We really care about what these illegal drugs are doing to the people we're selling them to.
Right? Yeah. So they tested it on the Cloak and Dagger, and they became Cloak and Dagger, and Cloak's basically filled with the Dark Force and Tandy or whatever Dagger. He wanted to say Cloak, but so Dagger is filled with light, and she has these light daggers. She goes bam, 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 whatever.
She glows,
and she's
also wearing what looks like a John Travolta disco suit.
Yeah, her outfit is always
it's a little questionable, and there's also she has a weird circle on her face.
Yeah,
around one eye, and at first I thought it was just her hair, but I think it's paint.
It's some sort of paint, yeah.
It's very odd. Anyway,
her outfit is always as a young man.
Oh well, yeah.
Anytime seeing, yeah, right. I mean, anytime you see Dagger, I'd be even when I was a kid, when this was when I would see this comic when I was 6 or 7 or whatever, a comic like this, and because she was Secret Wars was going on around this time too, Secret Wars 2, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So Cloak and Dagger farting around there, and I'd be like, look at that woman, she's just hanging tit. Kinda.
Oh yeah, it's
because
cutouts everywhere.
Because their chest has a giant, her outfit has a giant cutout of a dagger.
Yes,
so
the handle goes over the tops of her boobs.
Yeah,
so she instead of side boobing, she's top boobing.
It's going all the way down to her navel,
all the way down past her navel, pretty much to the top of her pubic bone.
Right. Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But so anyway, so they're chasing. So they're basically, since they got filled with drugs and they turn into these things, turn into these superheroes.
Yeah.
They are well, we got to fight drugs all around the world.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Drugs are bad.
So they're following drugs to France.
Yeah. So they go to Paris, and I feel like they almost teleport there because they show up in an alley. I feel like
because Cloak can do that.
Can do that, and they have. I don't even know what this guy's name is.
Bill Clayton.
Michael
Clayton.
Who's just literally wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Bill Walton. That's right.
He looks very 80s. He's very like Magnum PI without the coat and the mustache. He's got like a tight shirt.
Actually, he's none of that. Actually, he looks like Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah.
He's basically Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah.
But without like, but it's just like in your the boringest version of Andrew McCarthy.
And he shows up, and they're like,
This is actually what happens in between Mannequin sequels.
"Yo, yeah, actually, that you know what? If Dagger was a mannequin, I'd buy it. It makes sense." So they show up, and they're like, "Here we are in this alleyway," and Bill's like, "All right, man, let's go out there and get some regular people clothes, so we can go do covert operations."
So he's like, "Yeah, let's get some
like,
clothes.
Let's do this thing." And he's really into Dagger. Like, he wants to have...
Well, he kind of can't. How could you not be? I mean, you got this pretty blonde, platinum blonde running around with a dagger-shaped...
With top boob.
Top boob.
Top boob. And she's like, "No, we can't do that. Like, we're not... First off, you think we can just go out there. But second, we're not normal." And this is where I got really confused because, like, before, didn't they wear regular clothes before changing, the one we read before changing into their alter egos?
I feel like Cloak never does. I know Dagger
I felt like
usually
Cloak did, but maybe, I mean, he's just really become this, like, otherworldly being. He's almost like...
well, he's possessed by the Dark Force. I mean, basically his body, his entire body is a Dark Force dimension portal.
Yeah, he kind of just hangs out in the background, like, kind of like Phantom Stranger.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very Phantom Stranger.
He is very Phantom Stranger. So this guy's just like, "All right, hottie, I'm going to go buy some clothes for you. Before I do that, let me tell you how you're going to need my help about smuggling, because I know the smugglers."
Because I'm Bill Clayton for some reason.
Yeah,
I looked him up in the.
It doesn't really matter. Like, there's this like weird flashback where he just pictures dead bodies everywhere. Ooh. While he's like telling them this story of how he knows how he knows drug trafficking.
So he can project dead body pictures everywhere.
I think it's just supposed to be him remembering things, but it's just a very odd panel.
Yeah, he's basically like I don't, and I looked him up in the Marvel like wiki. He has like 4 appearances only in this book. I have no idea what his purpose is.
Yeah.
But basically he's like, "Look, let's go get some clothes," and then Cloak, rightfully so, is like, "Do you see me, motherfucker? Yeah. I'm just a head floating in a bunch of Dark Force dimension.
Yeah.
And a giant cloak. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
You want me to wear clothes?" And basically, Dagger's like,
"Okay, well, I know you can't, but I think it is a good idea for me to like put on regular human clothes and like walk around France trying to see if we can find any of this drug smuggling ring."
Right, but also too, like, Cloak is like, "Look, I don't want to upset Dagger because I need her to occasionally throw light into my body because I need that to keep me from going insane."
Yeah.
That's basically what it's kind of been, it's the irony of the idea that they're fighting against drugs, but basically, Cloak needs a fix from Dagger to keep him from losing his mind or whatever. So, yeah. So Andrew McCarthy goes out into France and he buys, I thought he was buying some bread here, but he's buying a shoe.
Yeah, he's buying I think they're pants. I don't even know what they are. Boots. I don't know. She ends up dressing like this Barbie that I used to have, who was like a...
Ooh, Vacation Barbie?
Like a horse Barbie, where she had this like red hat.
Horse Barbie?
Yeah, she had a horse. She was like, I can't remember what she's called, like Southwestern Barbie.
I kind of wish it was just a Barbie with a horse head.
And she had like these pants, and then she had like all these layers and like a belt and like a coat that went over it and like a red hat and a scarf, and that's pretty much what what's her face looks like.
So
I still have that outfit.
So Horse Barbie and Andrew McCarthy are like...
They're like, "Okay, see you later." Cloak's like, "Yeah, I have
Well,
fun."
he goes and gets them close to him anyways, and he's like...
"Have you seen my body?" Yeah, that's
Have
right.
you literally cannot see my body.
I am literally a sucking black hole.
I kind of wish there was a scene...
It's like if my soul became a body. Like,
your soul?
Yes, mine.
Jen's soul?
Yes, Jen's soul.
Jen's dark soul?
Jen's dark soul became an actual body. It's just this sucking black hole of emptiness.
I kind of wish there was a scene...
What, you wish my body could be... My soul could become a body?
Soul body? That
Sounds like a fucking place that really rich millennials go to work out.
soul. Oh, we gotta go to Jen's soul body.
No, we just gotta go to Soul Body. We're gonna, I don't know, lay on the floor and cry in the dark, and it'll be hot because that's usually what it is, and really loud music.
Yeah, just put people. Wait, so people be crying on the floor.
Yeah, so you come in
and they be playing a lot of like
play
Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't exactly know yet, because usually, like, if you go to Soul Cycle,
You're cycling.
you cycle in the dark. Usually, like, not the dark, but like nicely lit, and it's very loud. So I'm thinking like that, but people come to my gym and they lay on yoga mats and they cry.
Actually, sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Actually, sounds like a good idea.
yeah, it does actually.
How do you like? Because we've talked about like, it would be great if we could open our own business. Can you imagine? So like, here's the thing. So comic book store / coffee shop /
Soul Body Gym,
where you just there's a part of the store where people are just lying on the floor crying.
Yeah.
And that's the art.
It was just a guy crying.
It's an art space.
It's a space where you can go and cry. That's all it is. Nobody will judge you if you want to lay on this mat and cry.
Should we have a
You know what? It would actually be a lot cheaper just to start that one first, because we don't need any inventory. We literally just need a whole bunch of cheap ass yoga mats and like paint a space, like, some.
Oh, but then occasionally we can start putting comics in there.
Like millennial pink or whatever color it needs to be. And just like get like a fucking essential oil diffuser off of Amazon.
Hey, I'm thinking about like adding comics to my crying space.
Oh, can we call it the crying space? Or is it actually Soul Body, I think is better?
Well, Soul Body. Well, actually, a lot of people come in there, it's like, hey, can I get like a workout? It's like, no, we're just going to cry.
Oh, no, but that's it. We are working out. We're working out our emotions.
Oh, man. These are good ideas, babe.
I thought so.
I like this.
I have good ideas.
Yeah, he's like, Cloak's like, look, I better let her go and fucking hang out with this fucking Andrew McCarthy motherfucker. In the meantime, I'm gonna like try to find these people. But so now find these drugs. So now we actually do a quick run back to New York, where we get surprised Damien Hellström.
Yes, because there is this person who's like showing up.
Well, here's the okay. Well, I'll explain in a second. But basically, like, I was reading through this book, and I just opened it to like a random page, and it was like, I'm Damien Hellström. I was like, oh, Hellström!
He's here.
He's my boy.
Yeah,
son of Satan.
Like there's a priest there, and he's like,
well,
hey,
this is
man,
Father Delgado.
Yeah, and he's like, I need some help.
Okay, so basically, what he's explaining to Hellström, he's like, he calls Hellström, so he hires Hellström, calls him, has him come all the way from Massachusetts or hell.
Also Massachusetts, yeah.
Helston. He was instead of Alston. He's like, I live in Helston.
Did we live in Helston?
Sure.
I mean, we could have.
We could have.
These two.
Our cats are having a brawl. So
yeah. Anyway,
but he goes all the way. He gets hired by this priest, Father Delgado, and what Father Delgado is wanting to do is he wants to find a way to perform an exorcism on, I think, Cloak or Dagger, or somehow excise to cast away Cloak.
Yeah, because he calls him a demon of darkness.
Yeah, and so
Cloak is an angel of light, or
right?
Whatever.
And Delgado, the Father Delgado, has the hots for Dagger.
Man, see, if he could come to Soul Body, he could cry about that.
He could definitely cry on our floor.
That's probably against, Catholicism.
Yeah, I don't think the priests are down with that.
Probably, it is.
Hey, priests, yeah, if you're
hey, but bonus, at least she's over age 18.
I think so. She might be they started out as teenagers. We don't know.
Then he's still.
We don't know. Yeah, we're just.
He can't just be like a regular man having like regular feelings for like an age appropriate woman. He's got to be a fucking creep.
Oh, he's definitely a creep. He would go on to become insane because he couldn't handle this, apparently. So, but it's fun. This is funny because he calls Hellström over, And he's like, Hellstrom, can you do like an exorcism on like this deal I got, this problem I got? And he's like, they're not even here. You're dumb. It's like, you're a dumbass.
Right.
I'm
First
leaving.
off, they're not here. Second off, it was drugs.
Yeah, second off is drugs.
Yeah.
Third off, you're a priest. Fourth, she's an underage girl. Fifth,
we think, we're not sure.
we think she's an underage girl.
We actually do not know her age.
We don't. Fifth, she's a comic book character, so we can't really, whatever. But still, sixth, this is creepy. And seventh, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, fuck you, pay me, dude.
Fuck you, pay me. I'm going to my hotel. You wasted my time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Hellstrom should. I mean, that's literally all he showed. I was like, for a second, I saw him in there because I just saw him, pop up, and I was like, oh, sweet, Hellstrom's gonna do something.
I was like, oh shit, he's here. Nope. No, that's it. You don't see him for the rest of the book. He's gone.
And then is this where we jump to the police station now?
This is where we're still in New York, and there is this woman flying around, and what's her name? Mayhem?
So she calls herself Mayhem. So basically the deal here with this, because we're dealing with a bunch of this Cloak and Dagger backstory shit going on here. So basically her deal is that she used to be a police...
drugs?
Well, something happened where she was a police officer, and she was going to bust some drugs, and the drugs... So this police officer guy that she's coming after here set her up to get like murdered by the mob or something that was trying to shift some drugs, and these drugs were also kind of basically like killed her, but also like revived her so she can like do like things with gas. And so basically she shows up in this police station and she's like, motherfucker, I'm here to come get this guy that turned me over, or that sold me out. And they, the police officer, she's like, I used to be this police officer, but now I'm this Mayhem woman. And the police officer's like, yeah, I used to be a good person, maybe you should still be that. And she's like, well, I'm just saying, I'm pissed. And she leaves. And apparently,
isn't she also a zombie?
She's like a zombie. She's like a good zombie though.
Yeah,
she's a good zombie.
So she leaves. So that's that. And then now we're back in France. And they're like walking around, and he's like giving her.
They literally on vacation.
Yeah, then that's why it's called vacation. And so he's giving her like the tour, being like, "Hey, do you know this place is ancient? Like old armies used to hang out here." They're like, "Yeah, that's kind of what happened in Europe." And it probably happened in America. We
that's
just,
like Europe, the movie.
Wiped out all that history. Anyway, so they're like, this mugger like steals his wallet, and he runs after him, and Cloak like stabs him with
dagger.
Dagger stabs him with the light dagger. And he's like, oh shit, is this dude dead? She's like, no, he's just immobilized because he has like evil in his heart.
So basically the deal is that so the effects of Cloak and Dagger is that when Dagger throws you in his body, you get like really cold, and you can be like driven insane and eventually die.
Yeah.
When Dagger hits you with her light, if you have any evil in you,
it like immobilizes.
It like immobilizes you because you're in shock by being like you basically have like this full body epiphany of like, holy shit, I'm a shitty dude.
Yeah.
So
and like paralyzed.
And you get paralyzed.
So there's like a carnival, they're like, cool carnival. And like Cloak is like doing his own thing, thinking about smugglers, and then he happens to stumble across a drug deal. But not like a shit like, have a dime bag drug deal. Like this is like, here's a whole fucking suitcase
of morphine.
Full of morphine. I'm going to taste it with my finger because it's a comic book type of thing.
I always found that interesting when they
do that in movies all the time.
Yeah, but it's like, if you do that,
people actually do that?
Well, there's
I've never seen anybody buy a whole suitcase full of cocaine, so I honestly
also too,
don't
like
know.
if you're sticking some more, like for instance, there's a scene in Tango and Cash where I think it's in the very beginning where they bust this tanker, or Stallone or whatever busts this tanker, and he shoots it, and it's filled with cocaine, and he just does this thing where he goes, I was like, oh, it's cocaine, and then he licks it, and I'm like, wouldn't you get high? Like, I don't know.
See, that's the thing. I don't understand what good that does. Again,
I mean, granted, you could taste it and say that, like, yes, it's cocaine.
I've never bought a suitcase full of cocaine. I don't know what good licking it does. But I don't know, maybe it makes your face tingle. I don't know.
Oh, it's a thing, but I mean, apparently they're testing the purity. I guess if you deal enough drugs, you have to test the purity.
You gotta lick stuff.
Figure it out.
I mean, is that part of the game? Like, if you're just a drug dealer, you end up licking things? Anything?
Lollipops, toads. icicles.
Well, I mean, like, and what if you get out of the game and you, like, I don't know, go to, like, Whole Foods where there's, like, bulk oatmeal. Do you, like, taste it? Do you lick that?
That's how you know drug dealer.
Like, oh, it's pure. This is pure oats.
That's what happens when if you go to a store and you watch somebody, like, test, like, coffee or something.
Oh, yeah, all those little fucking kids that stick their hands in those bulk things, they're all drug dealers.
Drug dealers!
All those little fucking 4-year-olds that shouldn't be touching shit. Yep, drug dealers.
Tell their parents.
Yep, telling them.
I think your son's on drugs.
I think your son is a dealer.
What? Who are you?
So, yeah, what, lady? And just walk away. Leave a card for Soul Body and just walk away.
Soul Body. Oh, we got your cards.
You're gonna need to cry about this. The fact that you're
Hi,
5 years
I'm Jen Soul Body.
Jen Soul Body.
Hi, I'm Jen Soul Body. Hello.
Can I do commercials?
Yes.
Hi.
I think you'd be required.
I'm Jen Soul Body. Here at Soul Bodies.
I think you should be on the floor crying, or just on the floor while everybody's crying around you.
Yeah, I feel it would be better. Like, I need to find somebody who's a pretty crier. Like, who can get that, like, one big fat tear. I'm more like a Claire Danes crier, where my whole face just goes... my whole face just turns into, like, the back of my head when I cry. Like, it's just such a fucking mess. I don't even understand.
Turns into Batista's bald head.
It does. It turns into all that, like, wrinkly bullshit going on Batista's bald head. I am not a pretty crier.
Actually, I like that. I'm not a pretty crier. It sounds like a country song.
It should be a country song.
I'm surprised that is not.
It might be.
Carrie
I
Underwood
should
song.
Google it. Maybe it's a Casey Musgrave song. I gotta Google it.
So yeah.
So Cloak watches this guy who's getting the morphine, basically double cross this guy. He murders him, and there are many holes in this man's body.
Yeah, it's double cross. Yeah.
So he takes the morphine.
Actually, this guy's got all the holes.
He does have all the holes. He has many holes. So that guy gets fucked over, and the guy who stole the morphine drives away, and Cloak just goes with him.
Cloak follows him.
And we get this, like, narration boxing that I honestly did not give a fuck about.
Well, it's confusing because basically what we're seeing is Cloak tracking this guy through the shadows.
Yeah, so he's like this guy's basically driving up to Wayne Manor.
Ooh, Batman's a drug dealer.
Yeah, Batman probably is a drug dealer. He's like,
Batman's definitely tasted coke on a whim.
Oh, absolutely. So he, like, drives up to this castle. He gets out of the car. He goes. I mean, like, it's a whole scene. Gets into the castle.
He goes to this
chateau, maybe.
Chateau.
Yeah.
And he goes to the basement of the chateau where there's a chem lab
And a bunch of dudes.
And you can actually get, like, a nice, concise explanation of how opium and morphine is made.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, science. I understand it now.
Yeah.
And so basically he's like, the dealer's like, yeah, I killed the guy that...
He's like, yeah, we didn't have to pay for this.
Fucking awesome.
Isn't that fucking great?
And then Cloak shows up and is like, motherfucker, I'm going to kill everybody. Don't push heroin. And then all these...
Drugs are bad.
All these French guys are, like, shooting him with the guns. And it's not doing anything because he is full of the dark force.
Yeah.
And they're all calling him a demon, and shit goes majorly sideways for everybody here.
It goes majorly sideways. The guy who shot the guy when he stole the morphine runs out to the car. He grabs the suitcase and he runs. And while he's doing that, Cloak, like, envelops these 4 dudes, just goons, basically, in his cape, and he's just like, it feeds his hunger. And then we have this, like, really fucked up picture of Cloak's face where he's kind of, like, orgasming or whatever.
Well, apparently because
he has, like, a hunger, and this is, like, satiating that hunger.
But it hurts, too.
Yeah, and then so he, like, spits them out, and he's like, I won't succumb to this hunger.
Right.
So he spits out these dudes, and then he goes after the guy in the car.
Yeah.
And there's more narration boxing, and this guy in the car, like, Cloak appears in front of him, and he sucks the car into his cape.
This is very Spectre.
Yes.
This is actually reminds me of
He's very Spectre / Perfect Stranger. Yeah, he's very Balky in this. Phantom Stranger.
Ooh, that'd be a good. See, that'd be a good mashup. Balky as Phantom Stranger.
Oh God. No, that's terrible.
I don't know enough Phantom Stranger or Perfect Stranger jokes to make a.
I don't either.
To do an impersonation.
It was on when we were young.
I used to watch it. I didn't.
were very young.
It was a show that like was on TGIF, so it was kind of like, well, I guess I'm forced to watch this.
Well, everybody was forced to watch TJ.
I think by law, my family was forced to watch that show.
We all had to. We all had to watch it.
Yeah.
It was a national nightmare.
The national nightmare that was TGIF. So
those were the simpler times.
Yeah, remember when
that was the only national.
Remember when the biggest national nightmare was
fucking Urkel?
Was TGIF and fucking Urkel and fucking Uncle Jesse and
everybody fucking loving that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
I'm gonna go cry about that.
Yeah, let's get to our Soul Body store.
Get to our studio.
But it's very very much like the Spectre, because there's a scene where I think in one of the old Spectre stories where there's a car driving, like the Spectre's tracking some dude or whatever, and the car is driving and it drives into like the Spectre's mouth or whatever, because the Spectre's like just becomes all giant, or he becomes giant and actually picks up the car and throws it, which is actually pretty great.
Kind of what this guy does.
Well, what he does basically is
he sucks the cape in, and then he's like,
the car drives into his giant
fuck you,
cape.
And then he's like, no, I will not be nourished by a soul as foul as yours. Let death take you. And he just spits this guy off the side of a cliff.
What's going on in the car? Like, because it looks like he has a road in his body.
I think if you get sucked into the cloak, I feel like you just kind of like are suspended in a nothingness.
Right.
So the car is still like driving.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably still got his foot on the gas. So the minute he opens his cloak again, he gets spit out back into reality.
Right.
So it's like another dimension or something in there.
I think, well, it is. It's a Dark Force dimension.
Yeah.
So
he gets spit out. This is a superhero who does not give a fuck about lives.
No.
Because he gets spit out. This guy hits the cliff on the way down. His car explodes.
Nice.
And it says, the cloak cannot be blamed for an accidental death. Can he? And I'm like, that wasn't an accident, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like when Batman, like, kills somebody, like, his act of like breaking every bone in that dude's body leads to that guy dying on the operating table. Batman's like, I didn't kill him, and you're like,
yeah, it's a very Batman death going on here.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't cause that accident where I literally threw that car off a cliff.
That's how Cloak and Dagger ends. Because we didn't talk about the cover. Basically, the cover, Mike Mignola cover, by the way.
It's a cool cover.
It's basically like the scene in the chemist's chem lab where Cloak is just standing there and a bunch of goons are shooting him.
Butt.
I was just gonna say that guy has an interesting ass.
I feel like they were really like, there's no women on this cover, but we've got to draw somebody who's got.
I mean, Dagger's up here in a tiny box, but I mean,
we need not the same, because like his ass is like sticking out, and I feel like if you turned him, his chest would be very prominent because it looks like he's doing that like back bend.
Oh yeah, he's doing the '90s back bend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, that's basically the cover. Yeah, we didn't talk about it before, but yeah, it's basically what happens later on in the book.
Yeah,
so
they're just shooting into Cloak.
Not a bad cover, Mike Mignola.
It's neat.
It's always fun to see random non-Hellboy things. I got a few Quasar issues of him doing art too, so that's always pleasant. But would you want to read the next issue of Cloak and Dagger Volume 3?
Maybe.
Maybe?
I'll give it a maybe. Because I mean, I did not hate it. I'm not super interested in it, but if we had the next issue, I'd probably read it.
I'm kind of the same boat too, to be honest, because I don't want to seek it out, but at the same time, if this just happened to show up in like a random comic buy,
like in a grab bag or something,
I might give it a shot. I know eventually Dagger does join the circus that she sees.
Oh, okay.
For like an issue.
Sure.
Because Bill Clayton or whatever, Michael Clayton gave her a taste of the real world for a little bit, and she's like, I don't want to hang out with Cloak because he kind of sucks. And she's right. He's kind of a crazy. They're filled with drugs and they got altered permanently, so I guess they'll do it to you. But yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We have to see if it comes across. I did actually kind of enjoy this. Yeah, I did kind of enjoy this. I'm glad I got around to reading this again. So, but that's it for this week's show. Thank you for listening. Please find us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Angry Hero Sean. That's SHAWN.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever. Email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com. Put a comment on Facebook if you'd go to Soul Body.
Yeah, let us know if Soul Body is a good idea, because
is this a good business venture for us?
maybe it is.
So email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get the show. If you listen to Spotify, you can find us on Spotify. That would be really dope, because apparently everybody's using Spotify to maybe listen to podcasts. I don't know. I don't think that's happening, but maybe if you are, and maybe you should be, maybe I should be, please give us some good vibes.
Are you
there
using
too.
Himalaya or whatever that thing is?
There's too many.
I know.
We're not on Luminary.
Oh yeah, that's true. We are not, because that's like behind a paywall.
Yeah, we're not that good.
Nope.
We're not Malcolm Gladwell good. You imagine Malcolm Gladwell actually Malcolm Gladwell hosting this show would be really good.
Could we get him as a guest?
Sure.
All right.
I'm sure he's not doing anything.
That'll be our goal after we open Soul Body.
I'm certain that once he realizes we have a quality crying space here in suburban
it's definitely
Denver,
it's going to be a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk waiting to happen.
He's going to be like, you know what?
Opened up a crying space.
So you know what? I think I want to produce this show now.
Why wouldn't you?
Come on over.
Yeah.
We're gonna take this to the top.
I get it.
Revisionist History. Is it Revisionist History? Is that his other show?
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever. I don't even know. Everybody talks about Malcolm Gladwell.
He wrote a bunch of books.
I know he's a book guy, and I've listened to some of his show. I still don't know who he is.
He's just like a guy who's like, man, if you want to be really good at something, it takes 10,000 hours to be really good at something.
Oh, is he one of those guys?
Yeah, he's like, here's my book, The Tipping Point. I wrote this. And he does all these you can be great, self-help.
I thought he was a history guy.
He might have a little bit of history, but I think what he's known for is more those you can be good at stuff, and this is how people throughout history or how famous people got good at stuff by practicing this many hours and by doing it's all that sort of shit. It's kind of like a feel-good, touchy-feely.
Why do we like this stuff?
I don't.
I know, but I'm just I don't understand sometimes.
Well, because people want to feel that they have some sort of control over it. And it's most of the time there's no control. It's just fucking luck, man.
Well, luck is basically preparation equals...
No, I mean, luck is luck. Sometimes you just get fucking lucky.
True.
It doesn't mean that you didn't work hard, that you didn't do this, but you also have to have just a little bit of luck.
Yeah. No, wait. I've been there. You've been there. Yeah. So that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyways, Malcolm Gladwell, soon to come on this podcast.
Yeah, one day.
One day in hell, probably.
Yeah, well, we'll just keep doing this podcast long enough. Maybe he'll show up.
Episode 11,000.
It'll be the one that, by that time we're 97 years old. He's probably dead.
Oh, he's definitely dead. Well, maybe by that time we'll figure out that head technology.
Oh yeah, like in Futurama. Yeah, and then he has no choice because he can't go anywhere.
I'll just bring the head over. I'm just gonna get it out of the library. Just be like, hey, I'm taking this.
Can you check out a head?
Hi, I'm really... Oh my God.
That was never addressed in Futurama. If you can actually check out a head.
You should.
I mean, that you'd figure, right?
Excuse me, there's a 97-year-old man stealing Malcolm Gladwell's head, and he wants to do his podcast. Yep. Please stop him.
Yes.
He's getting away on his...
he's very slowly walking away.
He's slowly walking away, but he's getting into a car because we still have cars this far.
No,
road cars.
No. Did you saw that commercial, right? It's like a Toyota commercial.
Uh-oh.
And it's an older woman, and she's on a scooter. And it's basically like a Segway, but it's for old people. And it's
Yeah, Rascal.
No. It's like a standing one.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
well, it's just a Segway. What's the difference? A person can use a Segway.
It's a Segway, but it's more like I can't really explain it.
They're ageist Segways?
Yeah, no, it's just hey, let Toyota bring you into the future. But it's she's zipping down this mall on her little scooter, and she sees an older gentleman walking her way, and she's slow down so she could make eye contact and smile at this older guy, and it's Toyota making your life better or whatever.
Wait, so they produce old people fuck scooters?
I can't explain it. I guess, yeah.
I should watch this commercial. Is it just a rib or is it a real product?
No, I think it's a real product. I gotta find this thing again. I feel like maybe it's like what Toyota's gonna do in the future, but really it's kind of like Tinder.
Why are we not doing flying cars? Why are you making old people fuck scooters?
It's Tinder for old people.
Okay, great, but I'm saying why are they getting into the dating business? Why are they not making flying cars or flying trucks?
I don't know.
Can you imagine by this point Steve Austin could have a flying truck?
I mean, is only Steve Austin gonna have?
Only Steve Austin can have a flying truck. He's gonna have the first flying truck. He's gonna fly around the mean airways of Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
All
right. Well, Jen's gonna show me this video. We gotta go.
I think this is it.
That's just a scooter.
No, I gotta find this.
Okay.
I gotta find this thing. Maybe it's not Toyota. I will find it.
All right. Well, we'll find it. And we'll report to you if you want to continue this conversation about old people fuck scooters on our Facebook or Instagram or whatever the fuck it is we talk about. Please do. Thank you for listening, folks, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.